case, when was the last time we did a session on Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra here at Choe Ling? Did Lexo do it last week? No, right? December. That's it?
It was, no,
Huh?
January or...
January. March 30, okay. Okay. Great. So let's do this, alright? Let's start with just a few minutes of meditation to calm the mind, center the mind, and for those who are new, then this meditation technique, hopefully I can teach well enough within the next few minutes that you can then begin a daily meditation practice. And then later when we get into the philosophical stuff, since we've already covered quite a bit of ground, I make no promises if you're able to understand all of it, but this meditation technique, that's my, I feel confident that we can do it in a good way. Okay? Alright. So, please, already, yes, get into a comfortable meditation position. Means most important is to have a straight back. So don't slouch over. Try to, elongate the spine. And make sure that your nose is centered over your navel. So you're not leaning forward or to the side. And then, those of you who have meditated before here, you know this Dharani Mudra with the hands in the lap. Otherwise, what you're doing with the hands on the knees, like this, is okay. It's fine. Different hand positions are okay. Then make sure that your shoulders are not hunched over, so you can roll your shoulders up and back, opening up the chest. And gently tuck the chin into the neck like this to get some elongation in the back of the neck. And then please try to maintain a little bit of eyes a little bit open, allowing light to enter. Of course, it's easier to become concentrated with eyes closed, but it's also easier to fall asleep. So just a little bit of light entering. And then the mouth is closed, but the teeth are not clenched, so keep the teeth in a natural position. Put the tongue on the roof of the mouth behind the upper teeth, and then create a slight suction at first to remove all the empty space in the mouth. So now that we're in this meditation position, then we start by quickly scanning through the body, starting from the head, going all the way down to the toes, and trying to identify or locate any areas of tension that we might be holding. So, especially in the facial muscles, around the eyes, around the mouth, the eyebrows, wherever. Try to see if you're holding tension. And try to actively relax those areas. Continuing down through the neck and shoulders. If you find a pocket of tension that's a little bit harder, you can imagine that you're breathing into that place. And then as you breathe out, along with the breath, the tension is expelled, is removed, is released. And then continuing down through the arms, through the back, through the chest, through the stomach, down through the seat, and through both legs. All the way to the toes. So the body is completely relaxed, yet maintaining a good means disciplined meditation posture. So disciplined, yet at the same time relaxed. Then after we've adopted this meditation posture, then we bring our awareness to the breath. So this meditation, anapanasati, or the mindfulness of the breath. So please notice that as we inhale, notice the expansion of the abdomen. See how the belly or the abdomen expands, rises. And then as we exhale, it contracts. It falls. So using your mental awareness, keep your mind's attention or focus on the breath, on the rising and falling of the abdomen. Here we're working with a natural breath, just as it is. Not trying to have a long breath or a short breath, but rather just trying to become aware of the natural breath. Maintain quite a focused, disciplined awareness. So try to become aware of the very split second when the in-breath becomes the out-breath, and the out-breath becomes the in-breath. You can also mentally count the exhalations. So inhale. When we exhale, count 1. Inhale. Exhale, count 2. And so forth. Then when you reach 10, you start over again at 1. However, if when we're trying to maintain focus on the breath, our mind wanders away, then just gently bring the mind's awareness back to the breath and start over again at 1. So in the course of this meditation, although we're trying to focus on the breath, then other appearances to the mind will come, be they external, like sounds, or internal, like other discursive thoughts that might come up. We can notice that these other appearances to the mind occur, but don't follow after them. Don't comment on them. Don't get caught up in their stories. just let them arise and pass away back into the nature of mind. Okay, so we'll do this for just 4 more minutes. So not a lot of time, so please make a determination that you will stay focused on the breath for these next 4 minutes. the meditation and bring your awareness back to the womb. Ready? What?
It will come in a couple of weeks. It's safely kept.
It will come in a couple of weeks.
It's kept safely in someone's house.
Last time in Dharamsala, okay. This will be edited out of the video. What does that sound like? Not that nice. Right? Anyway, so last time in Dharamsala, someone spent a lot of time ringing all the various bells, the singing bowls, trying to find a good one. He's gone on vacation, it seems. Okay, anyway. Just joking. Okay. All right. So, shall we start from the very beginning? Shall we start from the very beginning? Yeah. Okay, thank you. I mean, I'm getting something like this. It's like I've been living in India 14 years, and I'm still not sure. Like, it's yes or no, or whatever you want to do. It's okay. So the thing we always have to keep in mind, right? This is what I'm saying, start at the beginning. If there was more time, I like to go through this exercise where I ask people why they came here, especially the new ones. Why did you come here tonight? And then I'm not satisfied with their first answer. I want to dig deeper. So whatever, and I'm not going to put you on the spot. I've already been a little bit scolding my boss. So I don't want to scold the new people. Then I'll be left with no friends, you know? So let's just say someone says, oh, I came to learn about meditation. Right? Then the next question is, why do you want to learn about meditation? Oh, because I heard it leads to mental peace. Why do you want mental peace? Right? Then you dig deeper. You ask about 7 of these whys. Why? Then you get to something a little bit more tasty, right? Not superficial. Anyway, the newcomers, as well as the old-timers, I don't know, whatever you want to say. Old-timers, yeah. Newcomers, old-timers. You can investigate. It's always important to investigate. Our motivation for what we're doing. So much of our life is very mindless, right? Oh, why are you doing that? I don't know. Everyone else is doing it, right? You can do that on your own time. For the sake of our limited time tonight, I'm just going to give you a bit of a hypothesis, a bit of a push. That you then, of course, hypothesis means you analyze. You don't take it as fact. You see if this is true in your case. And the hypothesis is this, that everything that we do, we means you, means the person next to you, means everyone who didn't even come tonight, right? Everyone who has a mind. We all want happiness and we want to avoid suffering. Okay? So not only that, but everything that we've done in our lives has been towards this very elusive quest, search for happiness, well-being, and on the flip side, trying to avoid suffering, uncomfortable situations. So from the moment we're born out of our mother's womb, right, crying, why? To get the milk, to get our diaper changed. Then even as we got older, going to school, working very hard, studying hard, yes? Why? The people who studied hard, then maybe so our mothers wouldn't scold us and nag us about doing our homework, maybe. Right? That was the avoidance of some suffering that our mother was giving us for not studying. Okay? Then if we had a more reflective nature, okay, if I study well, then I'll be able to go to a good university. Why? Then I'll be able to get a good job. Why? So I'll be able to get a good paycheck. Why? So I'll be able to afford all this stuff. Why? Because when I get all this stuff, I'll be happy. Yeah? Why? Then it gets a little bit tough. It gets a little bit tough, right? Probably we don't ask all that. We don't ask past that. But we know if you ever were poor, you know that being poor is full of stress and suffering, right? How am I going to pay these bills? You know, all this stuff. Then we can think, oh, this suffering, this stress is because I'm poor. But when I get such and such amount in the bank, then I'll be okay, right? But actually, that is partially true, okay? But we'll get to that, maybe we'll get to that later. Okay? Actually, they did research, and they did this research in the US, right? And they did find, to a certain point, right, the people they asked, you know, how satisfied are you in your life? How happy are you? Right? You know, there's a saying, money can't buy happiness. But actually they did the research and they found, well, up until about, people were making 80,000 US a year. Which, okay, in the US, you're doing okay, right? But up to a certain point, and they found that point to be 80,000, actually there was a correlation between people's self-reported scores and their income. Because of this very point. Below that, you know, there is a lot of stress that comes when, you know, if you don't have a emergency fund, if some health problem comes, or this, right? It's very stressful. But after that, you know, I'm sorry, I said a bit of economics as well as philosophy, right? But you know, the economists call it the point of diminishing returns. You guys know this concept? Yeah. Yes? You're hungry, right? You like momos. You know momos? Hello, momos. Yeah, everyone loves momos. Well, I'll tell you, when you're hungry, they give you a plate of momos. The first one, oh, wow, awesome, right? But you see, each subsequent momo you eat, I mean, the economists, they call it like your marginal utility. Hello, you study economics too? Great. Your marginal utility goes down. That's just a way of saying, right? The first momo, nice, right? So much happier, so much better off. But the second momo, okay, good. But, you know, how much incremental benefit you gain from each additional momo you eat drops off. And at a certain point, what do you think? Momo number 12?
Stop.
Yeah? Then each additional momo you eat, it doesn't even give you more benefit, it just gives you suffering. Yeah? Okay. Anyway, what that means is the point of diminishing returns. Okay? So we see it in momos, then we see it even in people's income. Right? Where, you know, you're getting richer and richer, but the amount of happiness, right, it doesn't go up. You understand? So, this is important to keep in mind at the beginning, right? Because some people get misconceptions, right? Misconceptions. Where, you know, you hear all sorts of things on the street, right? Then especially you start coming to a Buddhist center, you start receiving teachings from a monk, then this concept, renunciation, right? Renunciation, I have to renounce. I have to renounce, right? Then people can think the renunciation means giving things up, right? Oh, you know, I like ice cream. Oh, but I have to give up ice cream, or whatever it is, right? It's like, I don't know, what do you guys think? Like the Buddha, the ice cream is the real happiness, but the Buddha doesn't want us to be happy, we have to give up ice cream? Huh? No, not like that. What I'm saying, actually, what I'm about to say, is that you see, this external, oh, sorry, I skipped a few steps, right? So anyway, everything that we've done, from the womb, through going to school, through getting a job, through buying the condominium, whatever, to going on vacation in Turkey, right? Has been trying to find this happiness, right? Trying to avoid the suffering that we don't like. Trying to gain experiences we do like. Yes, I think we can all see that a little bit easily. But now, then the next question is, okay, given that's what we've been doing our whole lives, well, how have we been trying to do that, actually? What have we been doing? And then, if we're honest, well, yeah, it's like that. We've tried to accumulate wealth. We've tried to get a lot of people to like us. We've tried to find Mr. Right. You guys call him Mr. Right? Huh? Is that the people talk like that in this country?
No.
Mr. Right?
Yeah, Mr. Right or Mr. Right.
Yes, okay. Anyway.
It's usually Mr. Wrong.
Yes. Anyway, so the common factor in all of, well, maybe not all, but most of what we try to do for the beginning portion of our life has been focused on the outside, the external world, right? Trying to arrange the external world to our liking, right? So again, this is not to say, given a choice, I'd rather this room be a few degrees cooler. Right? I'd rather eat nice food than not. No, don't turn on the AC. No, not that. In general, I would like to have people say nice things to me, about me, right? I don't particularly want to be famous, though. No, I'm just looking at you because you're here. I'm not saying you.
I don't mind.
Yeah, you see. But the question is, right? You see, these things that we've been doing with our lives, right? The activities we've undertaken, all the hard work we've done, has been focused on the outside, right? Okay. Or the vast majority. Now, we look at that as a strategy. We look at that as a strategy. And we can only compare things, right, relative to alternatives, right? There's no absolute good, absolute bad somewhere out there. You always compare relative to other strategies we could be following. And the question is, if we're a little bit reflective, is this strategy, right, going to lead us to the happiness, the peace, the well-being, the avoidance of suffering that we really deeply need, deeply seek? So then, it's almost like a very natural experiment, right? A natural experiment is to look in the world. We can do this, right? Look in the world and see those people who have the things that we think we want to have, right? Well, like look at our Hollywood, Bollywood celebrities, right? Rich, famous, good-looking, with Mr. Right, right? Famous, everyone adores them, okay? Those are the people we hold up as gods in the world, right? Well, maybe not you, but in general. So then, we see, okay, do those people, do they have the happiness? The real happiness that we want? Then it's a little bit, wait a minute, if we dig deeper, on the face of it, kind of looks nice, right? But we dig deeper and we see, in this class of people, and this is not to criticize them, but it's just to be honest, right? Just to honestly diagnose what's going on in the world. And we see in this class of people how much, well, drug and alcohol abuse, how much suicide, divorce, these things, all symptoms of lack of satisfaction, lack of inner peace. And therefore, though those things, right, the fame, the wealth, the, whatever, right, they're okay, they're probably preferable to not having them, but they're not enough, they're not sufficient to lead us to the happiness and well-being that we seek. Right? And so, it's interesting. I talk about this a few times, but I like to talk about the etymology of words. means by understanding the meaning of the parts of the word to understand the overall meaning of the word, right? Like biology, right? Bio is life. Logi or logos means knowledge, so biology means knowledge about life, right? So you see, the Tibetans, they don't. When they talk about Buddhist, right? Buddhist, they use the word Nangpa. Nang is like inside. Pa is a, it's like drive versus driver, right? The one who drives is a driver, right? So pa, right? It's like the inner being, you could call it, right? Whereas a non-Buddhist, they call it chiropa. Chiropa, chiro is out, outside, or outsider. Okay. And the etymology, what I've seen about this is, when we look at the primary strategy for attaining well-being, right? The chiropa, mostly concerned with arranging the outside world in a way that they like. Whereas the Nangpa, working on the inner world, the mind. And the significance of this is, you see, the mind actually is the primary determining factor in the way we experience life. You see, two people, same external environment, depending on how their mind is, have two totally different experiences. You understand? So, when the mind is disturbed, when the mind is overcome with afflictive emotions, destructive emotions, right? Even, you're in the brilliant, AC-controlled room, you're on the nice, seats, you're eating the nicest food, you're drinking the nicest drinks, you're surrounded by all the best people you want, right? Still, if the mind is disturbed, all that stuff doesn't matter at all. You understand? Then on the flip side, with the right type of mind, I tell you, and I'm not a great practitioner by any means, by any stretch of the imagination, but I swear to you, at the monastery, what the monastery serves for lunch is dal. Every day. One day we have dal and bread, one day we have dal and rice. But I tell you, I don't know, if this is like training, or maybe they put some added ingredient in the dal, but I'm perfectly content eating that dal every day. You understand? Now, some of you might be like, wait a minute, you're always talking about pizza. Yes, it's true. But I'm not talking about pizza down in the monastery. Honestly. You understand? Anyway, and I'm not a good practitioner. But you see, with a certain type of mind, then these external things, it's like, they don't matter so much. So, anyway, here's what I'm trying to say to you guys and gals, is this fundamental desire that we have for happiness and wanting to avoid suffering is a good thing. And so, we're not trying to get rid of that, okay? We're not trying to change that aspect of our nature. Okay? But just as we do when we buy any kind of product, consumer product, right? You guys use Amazon?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So whatever it is, Amazon, they really get you, right? It's like customers who viewed this item also viewed. So then you look at that. Then you read the product reviews, right? Well, this one's 4.4 stars. Oh, this one's 3.9 stars, right? We check, we analyze, we see which is the one we should get, which is the one we should buy, right? It's okay, it's good. But here, we're doing the same thing, but relative to the real thing that we're purchasing with our life means spending our lives chasing after, right? Then we need to check the kind of customer reviews, right? On that type of happiness. And so, can you imagine? Well, let me put it this way. You see, even with a little bit of reflection, we see that these destructive emotions, like anger, jealousy, attachment, greed, pride, they're so, that's why we call them disturbing emotions, destructive emotions. They're the ones that destroy our happiness and well-being, right? Even those things that we're chasing after, even we find Mr. Right, but with one moment of anger, we say that thing, and relationships can be destroyed, right? So anyway, I guess my point is, since we want to be happy, and since we want to avoid suffering, we need to see how happiness, peace, well-being, peace of mind, all this stuff, how it comes, how suffering comes. And then when we take the first step into seeing that it's our mind that is the very integral factor, the most important thing actually that determines the quality of our experience, then we know, or we can easily ascertain that therefore, because we want happiness and we don't want to suffer, therefore I have to take care of my mind. And then, what does then taking care of the mind mean? It means, well, these destructive emotions, anger, jealousy, pride, all this stuff, well, it means to be able to work with them in such a way, transform them, subdue them, that they don't arise as frequently. And when they do arise, they arise with less intensity. They remain in the mind for shorter periods of time. Right? And gradually, well, we'll get to this later, but gradually we can abandon them altogether, whereby they no longer have the potential to arise again. Okay, we'll talk about that later. But from even the first time you've come here, you can understand that we are creatures of habit. We or any other organism, right? That's dependent on causes and conditions. If you are subjected to certain stimuli, then certain things will take place, right? So similarly, what we're trying to do here is, learn about what are the factors that cause the destructive emotions like anger, attachment, jealousy, greed, lust. What are the factors that cause them to arise in the mind? And what can we do so that they arise less frequently, less strongly, right? That's the name of the game. That's why we come here, right? It's to learn about how to work with our minds, you know, so that we have a balanced state of mind, whereby these destructive emotions loosen their hold on us, and on the flip side, the positive states of mind, love, compassion, tolerance, patience, wisdom, yeah, we can similarly increase them, right? We can build the rate of frequency with which they arise in the mind. We can cause them to arise more strongly, cause them to abide for longer periods of time, like this. So, it's all training. It's all training. Yeah. So what we're doing here, actually, what Dharma is, Dharma just is the methods, the tools, the ways of training the mind to enact these kinds of positive changes. That's what Dharma is. Yeah? Yes. So that's my hypothesis. Okay? So, please, of course, investigate it. And then when you see there's some truth in it, then, bring that to mind again and again. And always keep that in mind. Keep in mind this fact. Well, of course, it's not quite yet a fact. But this thought that the mind is the determiner of our own experience, and therefore if we want a better experience in life, we need to take our minds and upgrade them, right? Improve them. Improve mind means improve experience, means improve life. Right? And so all these various treatises that we read, all that we do here is to learn about these various techniques to upgrade the mind, and then to do the actual work of training the mind. Right? Before we do the training, we have to learn how to train. Right? So we do these two things here at Ling, Bangalore. Let me make a commercial out of this. Right? Learn about the ways to train the mind, and then do the actual training. Okay? Nothing mystical. Right? That's to make it very simple what we do. Okay? Alright. Yes?
So can I ask one question?
You can ask one question.
Okay, just one question.
It's okay.
So if the ultimate aim is to be happy,
Yeah?
okay, so who defines its ultimate aim? It should be happy. It can be anything, right? Or is this the truth that the ultimate aim is happiness, is the truth that we should live for?
Yeah. So,
is there anything more deeper than this?
Okay, thank you. So here, what I'm talking about right now is the starting point. Okay? And, this hypothesis of everyone wants to avoid suffering, everyone wants happiness. Okay? We can look in the world and even among animals, right, who've never come to a class, or even if they did come to a class, can't understand what the teacher is talking about, right? But even those animals, they want to be fed. They're our pets. They want to be fed. They want their bellies scratched, right? They want love and affection. If you know, you're training a dog. I'm not a dog trainer, but if you're training your dog who's peeing on the carpet, isn't there something you squirt it with water, right? They don't like the water, so therefore they don't pee on your carpet anymore, right? Something like this. So even you know, in the animal kingdom, we see, right? This is my hypothesis. Anyone who has a mind, and animals have a mind, they don't want suffering and they want happiness. Okay. So now, of course, to a dog, happiness is, you know, eating some nice food, maybe having a chew toy. I don't know. Ooh. Right? Comfortable bed, being able to sleep. I don't know. Right? Scratch on the belly, squeaky toy. You guys know better than me, right? Okay? So, that's fine. Now, for us, there's a great Tibetan master who said, now is the time we have to differentiate ourselves from animals, right? So we as humans, we have, what is the defining characteristic of a human? But we have, supposedly, we have this great intelligence, right? Well, but it's up to us whether we use it or not, right? So, you know, we could live like animals, and some people might say, "Oh no, we're just animals too." Well, that depends on you. So if you want, you can just go after food and getting your belly scratched, right? But you see, even in the beginning, it's helpful to think that, you know, I think a unique characteristic of humans actually is that we can do this inner work on our emotional life or our mental world, whereby these afflictive emotions, we can apply the methods and have success in applying them so that the anger, the jealousy, and all this will decrease. We can even forget about abandoning them, right? Even to get them to decrease is a unique thing that humans can do, right? Whereas, you know,
Should identify the emotions as it comes.
I'm sorry?
You should identify what sort of emotion, negative emotion, anger, sadness, jealousy. You should
I missed the first two words. We should try to? Is that what you said?
identify what
Yes.
sort of emotion.
Well, yes, that's one thing in the game, of course. Because if you don't understand what's going on in the mind,
Yeah.
then, you know, it's like we live in a mindless way and we don't know, you know, what's going on. So that's one step, right? But on a more fundamental level, you see, so what was I saying? You know, so many of the dogs, I don't want to talk about dogs, but you know, the other dogs come and bark, 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 right? But I don't know if there's any dogs that are like, hey, why am I getting so upset when I see other dogs come? You know, dogs reflecting like this. I'm like, hey, maybe instead of barking, I'm gonna, you know, meditate a little bit. Dogs don't talk like that, right? I don't think so. So anyway, this taking the responsibility, right, for our own experience, is coming from our own minds, and then doing something to upgrade the mind, to work with the mind. That's the unique feature of humans. I think so. So then, you know, happiness isn't just having a chocolate sundae in an AC controlled room, right? But he's doing something with the mind whereby our happiness isn't so dependent on those outside factors like the ice cream and the AC, right? Then, of course, we get deeper and deeper. We start to get some success in our practice. Just a little bit of success. And then we see, oh, these methods that I've been using to train my mind, they work. Right? They've worked for me. And then, with a little bit of reflection, you infer from someone else. I used to be so upset when such and such happened. Then I, started to think in a different way. I started to train my mind in this way. And wow, I am able to accept people criticizing me a lot better than before. And now you see someone else who, when they get criticized, they get upset and they fly off the handle. Then you might think, wow, wouldn't it be great if these methods that I've learned to work with my mind, if they put them into practice and got the same kind of results that I've gotten, right? So anyway, that's a little bit next step, right? Then of course you can go even to the next step, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. The final one, of course, is to think, okay, here we're in the Buddhist context, right? Buddha, right? Being the awakened one means having completely purified all faults of the mind and completely developed all good qualities. Okay? So here, that's, we want to talk about what is the ultimate happiness. It doesn't get any better than that, right? But why do we need that one? That is fundamentally rooted in compassion for others, right? Seeing that we're all in the same boat, we're all suffering. Okay, not only do we all want happiness and want to avoid suffering, actually, we're all suffering. And we're never content, we're never satisfied with the little amounts of happiness that we do get in life, right? So seeing the kind of universal condition of all living beings, we think, actually it's not enough that I myself get some kind of happiness or avoid some kind of suffering. Actually, can I do something to alleviate the sufferings of the whole world? All living beings who, just like me, don't want to suffer. All living beings who, just like me, want happiness. Right? Why should I just work for my own well-being? Right? Then we see, oh, as great as that thought is, wishing to help others, even taking the responsibility, I myself must do something about this situation, to then see what, in my current state, I can only benefit others in a very limited way. I myself still am suffering. I myself still have so many problems. So, what really can I do to benefit others when I myself am still caught in all these undesirable situations? Then you see, well, if I'm able to develop my own mind to its fullest extent, means perfect all my good qualities, eliminate all my faults, then I'll be in a position to really benefit others. So, remember, state of eliminating all faults of the mind and developing all good qualities, that's what we call Buddhahood, enlightenment. Right? And why do we need that one? So we can benefit others in the best way that's possible. So, that's the highest happiness. And that's the ultimate goal. Right? But for many of us, it's like quite far off.
So still we are, we may not be satisfied because even if you are trying to benefit some 10%, 20% people, still we are going to see a lot of suffering happening around the world. So we feel still maybe unsatisfied because of the untouched part, right?
Yeah.
So we need to take it in a, just focus on this, how much we can benefit, or we also should be thinking about other people who are, we can't help directly, something like that. So we should think positively, or okay, it's okay.
You know, they say, you all hear the question?
No.
So the thought is, and correct me if I didn't understand you correctly, the thought is like this, right? You know, as good as we do, and let me add to what you're saying. Even if we attain enlightenment, right? Countless Buddhists have come, and there's still so many suffering sentient beings in the world, right? So we still would be unsatisfied seeing all the suffering in the world, right? So then what do? Do we focus on the number of people that we can benefit, we can influence, and be happy with that? Or what's the alternative? Think of all the beings that are still suffering, and what? Get sad? So okay. Yeah. So there's the saying, right? There's a time and a place for everything. Right? Actually, we'll get into this later. I mean, this was my intro talk. And now we're talking about the qualities of enlightenment. So anyway, it happens. But you see, actually at the state of enlightenment, there's no, oh, should I do this or should I do that? Everything one does is a spontaneous manifestation of whatever is most beneficial for all sentient beings at that time, at that moment. Okay? So let's just put aside full enlightenment for now. When we're still training in the path, right? Well, why I was saying there's a time and a place for everything is that, sometimes we'll need to train our minds in different ways, right? And sometimes I'll tell two stories, okay? There's a story of a great, actually he's a Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion. But there's a story of how, you see that tanka there, this painting, has 1,000 arms. If you look closely, there's 1,000 arms, okay? Each of the arms has an eye. So, that's Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion. Then the story of how Avalokiteshvara got to have, or, became endowed with 1,000 arms. is what I'm going to share right now, right? So he said, when he was still training on the path, he made a commitment to his guru that, vowing to never get tired of acting for the welfare of others, acting for the welfare of sentient beings. And he said, if my determination to benefit others ever, wavers, or I ever get disheartened, may my body shatter into 1,000 pieces, 1,000,000 pieces, right? Made his commitment to his guru. Okay? So then it is said he was in the hell realms, in the Narak realm. And he was benefiting sentient beings, liberating them from the hell realm. Okay? So he's doing his work. Okay? Liberating countless beings from hell, suffering from hell. And at one point, he turns around and he sees more beings being born into the hell realms, like rainfall. And he's like, he's benefiting the people in front of him, liberating so many. He turns around, he sees however many he's liberated, countless more have been born in the hell realm in the time he's been liberating these ones. So he gets very discouraged, right? Thinking, it's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it, right? As many as he was benefiting, so many more were being born there. So he lost his determination for a split second, right? Got discouraged. Oh, I'll never be able to liberate all sentient beings. Right? Then, because he made this promise to his guru, his body did shatter into however many pieces. But it is said, so his guru, Amitabha Buddha, then, it's kind of like Humpty Dumpty, right? Put back together again, and then Amitabha said, okay, to help you do more work for sentient beings, we'll give you 1,000 arms, right? So you can do more work. Then each of the palms of the hand has an eye, so you can also look to see, all at the various sufferings going on. So it's kind of upgraded, physical upgrade. Anyway, my point is, you see, sometimes this sense of, no matter how much I do, it's never enough. Sometimes it can be a good thought, right? Because it instills some level of urgency, right? Some urgency in our practice, right? In particular, to think, you see, a very evil thought is this thought that, oh, if I don't do it, someone else will, right? It's not my personal responsibility, right? Liberate all sentient beings from suffering? Aren't there all these other Buddhas? What are they doing now? Can't they do that? Right? Right? So then we're like, not my job. That's the evil thought. Because you see, we've all been thinking like that. there's actually a very interesting case study. There's this case in New York, okay? New York City. Someone was being attacked, right? Attacked in the street. Then this is going on, and they're crying out for help, right? No one came to help. And it was like maybe 2.5 hours or 3 hours. You know, the person kept like running and getting attacked. Finally, they were killed. I forget all the details, but then it was like this big, not scandal, but this big like, how on earth could this happen? You know? Because so many people in the buildings, they heard the cries for help. But you see, every one of them was like, oh, yeah, okay, everyone else must be hearing this too. Someone must have called the police. Someone must be helping, right? No one took personal responsibility. And therefore no one did anything. And therefore this person died. So, sometimes, thinking in this way, that's why you see our spiritual director on his membership, when he makes dedication prayers, you know, maybe some of you have heard, he says, you know, due to the power of this virtuous action, you know, may I liberate all sin, may I first become a completely enlightened Buddha, so I can liberate all other sinning beings from the oceans of samsara suffering and lead them to the state of enlightenment by myself alone. You heard him talk about it? By myself alone. It's very nice. This is the one, actually. Train our mind that way. All the suffering of all sinning beings is my responsibility. You know? In the whole universe, all the suffering sinning beings is my responsibility alone to liberate them. You understand? Even when I verbalize that now, it's a little bit painful. I don't want to say it, right? I want to at least be like, okay, but some of you Buddhas, can you help me? Right? I don't want to do it alone. No. And therefore, there's even more reason to train the mind that way. Right? Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But for now, what I'm saying, I'm answering your question, believe it or not, and then it's like these two minds, what to do. Right? So I'm saying, there's a time and a place for everything. Means sometimes we have to train our mind in one way. Means be completely overwhelmed by the amount of suffering in the world. Completely overwhelmed. Sometimes we have to do it. But other times, then there's another story I like to tell, right? Because actually, the danger is we become like Avalokiteshvara, and we see, no matter how much we do in the world, then we can feel like it's not making a difference at all. Then the point is, if we're in that situation, in that scenario, we run the risk of then nothing I do matters. Oh, all this is not else, you know? So then when we run the risk of having that thought, then there's another story, another way of thinking that we need to train in, right? And this is like I don't know. It's a kind of an email forward or something, right? This story, you know? Many of you have heard before, but there's a story of someone on a beach, right? The sun is coming up. And you know, the tide has come in. And so then the whole beach is filled with these starfish, right? Starfish, yes. So now the tide has gone out and they're all stranded on the beach. The sun is coming up, and so it's getting hotter. And since the starfish are there on what's going to become a scorching hot beach, they're all going to die, right? So then someone goes and sees the situation and is like, oh, okay. So has to pick up the starfish and throw them back into the ocean. The whole beach is filled with these starfish. So someone else comes, the sun now is quite up, asks the person, oh, what are you doing? He says, I'm saving these starfish. The person says, well, look at this beach. There's thousands of starfish. You know? You're never going to save them all. Right? What you doing? So you're not going to save them all. What you're doing doesn't matter. It's not going to matter. Then the first person he picks up one, says, well, it matters to this one. And throws the next one in. It's kind of cool. You understand? Okay? So, you understand? These two ways of mind, ways of thinking, we need to be skilled, right? And know when we need to think in one way, when we need to think the other way. You understand? So you see, further to the point here, we ultimately, right, our own path, our own journey is to build our own mind. So of course we need to look and know what's going on in our own mind. And when we're feeling a bit lazy, which we will. Hey, by the way, you're not going to get enlightened this weekend. Sorry. No. No way. Okay? In fact, can I burst your bubble? None of you are going to get enlightened this year. Okay? Can I make a further claim? I'm willing to bet, you guys like ice cream? I'm willing to bet a nice ice cream sundae that none of you are going to get enlightened in this life. Okay? Understand? Actually, I would love to lose that bet. Okay. If I'm wrong, and you guys, one of you gets enlightened, all of you get enlightened, please come tell me. You'll be able to find. You'll be omniscient. You'll know where I am. Allow me to offer you the ice cream, and then you come and teach me. Okay? All right. Anyway, what I'm saying is, you see, for most of us, we're going to need to practice for a long period of time, sustaining our effort, right? For a long period of time, many lifetimes even, many eons, right? So, because of that, we need to then, see what's going on, right? And when we're feeling lazy, we're going to think in a certain way to light the fire, get over our complacency, get over our procrastination. But at other times, if we're feeling overwhelmed, we're also going to need to know when to relax, when to take a holiday. You understand? So that you guys need to know what's going on in your mind. Okay? So that was the, more or less, the introduction. General introduction. Okay? General introduction. Basically, if we sum up, we and all other living beings want happiness and want to avoid suffering. Well, but our experience of happiness and suffering depends on our mind more than the external world. Therefore, we have to do something to take care of our mind, to transform the mind. And that's why we need Dharma practice. Dharma practice being, remember the two things we do here? Learning about the techniques, learning about the tools to transform the mind, and then putting it into practice. Okay? Why couldn't I just say it like that? Why do I have to take an hour to say it? I don't know. Hopefully it'll stick better that way. That's general Dharma. Then, thanks to a very good question. Wait a minute. Is that the ultimate happiness? No. We already started to incorporate this concept of, as we gain more control of our own mind, as we gain more skill with dealing with our own internal mental and emotional world, right? Yes, there'll be fewer problems in our life. There'll be less suffering. There'll be more peace of mind. Our lives will get better. Yes, fine, good. But that's not it. Because at the same time, as much as we have learned and been able to integrate these practices within our own life and got success, then we'll be in a position to teach others these same methods so they can also improve their lives in a similar way. Then, fast forward, well, the pinnacle of this development, the pinnacle of this training, is to then abandon all the negative faults of the mind completely, and to develop all the good qualities of the mind completely. That state of the complete pacification of all faults and the complete increase of all good qualities is what we call Buddhahood. That's what Buddha is. And here's some new material. That's that statement. That attainment of Buddhahood is possible for all of us. You understand? Yeah? Because these faults of the mind that are the obstacle to attaining enlightenment, they don't intrinsically exist in the nature of the mind. Which is just another way of saying, since they're not intrinsically part of the mind, they can be removed. And when all these faults are removed, the clean, clear, pristine, perfect mind of Buddha is what's remaining. Okay? Alright. And as we alluded to before, why we need that one that state of enlightenment is, then and only then will we be able to work for the benefit and welfare of others in the best way without mistake. You understand? So fundamentally, the attainment of enlightenment has to be conjoined with this wish to be of benefit to others. Understand? That's the only reason, actually, to attain enlightenment. It's so we can be of utmost benefit to others. So, why do you care about the suffering that others are experiencing, right? Why do we take personal responsibility to overcome, to think that it's our responsibility to help these beings overcome their suffering? Huh? So, this is where great compassion comes in. Compassion being the wish that others be free from suffering, right? And then what makes the compassion great is that it extends, one, to all sentient beings, all living beings, and two, that it's not just the wish or the thought, may these others, may others be free from suffering, but taking on the personal responsibility, I myself will free them from suffering. And in general, one trains in that mind, willing to take on the responsibility. There's two ways. One is we consider that all living beings, all sentient beings have been our mother, or someone very loved one, right? Very kind to us, very close to us. So they've been our mother, not just once, but countless times. Remember, in the Buddhist cosmology, there's no beginning. Means no beginning to the mind. No beginning to the mind because every moment of mind is necessarily preceded by a previous moment of mind. So if the mind is preceded by a previous moment of mind, then the mind at our first moment when our mind enters the womb of our mother, that had a previous moment of mind. That goes back to our previous life. And so forth. And so on, without beginning. So no beginning of mind means no beginning of rebirth. Means no beginning of samsara. And therefore, at one time or another, actually, many, many times, we have all of you have been my mother countless times. Yes. Thank you. You are so kind to me.
And you and us.
Well, yes. Yes. So, but I'm just talking about the training. We all must do. All sentient beings have been my mother countless times. Countless. not just once, countless times, and then reflecting the kindness that has been showered on us time and time again. Then to think, oh, I then must do something to repay that kindness, right? Even in a worldly sense, when you receive a lot of kindness from someone, and you don't repay the kindness, quite selfish. Even for worthy people, not even talking about people who, come to classes like this, right? So I'm thinking, we must do something to repay the kindness of our mothers. Our mothers means also weak. Then to reflect, well, how can I repay their kindness? And reflecting on the situation that others are in right now, right? So much suffering in the world, right? So much suffering. And actually, there's no time to get into it now, but you see, the real suffering isn't like, what we see out there, crippled dogs, sick people, beggars. It's not what we hear on the news, with natural disasters, plane crashes, terrorist attacks, I mean, it's bad. But you see, remember beginning this time? Beginning this time. Samsara? Yeah. Samsara. You heard? You heard about samsara? did you get the brochure about samsara? Samsara. Cyclic existence. Cycle of existence means from beginningless time, beginningless time, beginningless mind, beginningless rebirth, beginningless samsara. Samsara being this process of conscious rebirth, uncontrolled rebirth. Uncontrolled rebirth means we didn't decide, oh, I want to be born in, I don't know, Hawaii. I didn't decide. I was born in Hawaii. But I didn't, it would be a pretty good decision if it were mine to make, but it wasn't my decision. These dogs you hear barking didn't decide. Oh, it's not. Remember, we're talking about brochure. It's not like you go to the travel agent, and decide, oh, where am I going on my holiday? They show you all the brochures and say, okay, no, I'm going to Maldives. No. It's not like at the end of our last life we were shown all the brochures, and then, someone said, oh, I want to be reborn as a dog. No way. No way. Uncontrolled rebirth. Due to karma and afflictions means, remember those afflictions that are causing so much trouble even in this life? Oh. And it's not just this life. All of our lives, from beginningless time. and life to life. Life to life. That's what they call it. Throwing us. You know? Remember. Throwing us into the next life. After it's thrown, who knows what's going to happen to it, right? Sorry, we have compassion for those roses, right? But after they leave my hand, there's no more, nothing more can be done. It's just, you know, gravity's exerting some force on it, but then, boom, those blades made short work of our rulers, right? So it's just like that. We're thrown from our last life into the next life. No control. So the suffering, the real suffering, means the real problem isn't what we see out there, but rather, since our mind isn't subdued, we haven't abandoned the cause of samsara. And therefore, okay, remember we're trying to begin this time, beginning of this rebirth, beginning of samsara? Okay. Actually, when we think about that, we should feel sick to our stomach. You know, if you really think about that. Really sick, nauseous. Okay? But hold on. I don't know. Do you think it's even worse than that? Even worse than beginningless samsaric suffering is until we abandon the cause of samsara, until we gain nirvana, then actually the amount of rebirths we'll have, uncontrolled rebirths we'll have in the future, will be even more than all we've had in the past. Now what do you think? Which is worse? Beginningless samsara or the possibility of endless samsara? I don't know. Both of them make me want to vomit. Ale. So what are we talking about? Not vomiting, but the suffering, the real suffering isn't the one we see out there, but it's the suffering of having to be in this uncontrolled situation of samsara. And that's what our mothers are experiencing. And so if we don't do something about it, no one else will. Who else can take responsibility if the children don't? Then we see, in our current state, we're very limited in our ability to help them. But if we attain the state of enlightenment, I'm almost done. Then, or only then, will we be able to work perfectly for their benefit. And therefore, that's why I have to become enlightened. So in that thought, I will attain enlightenment so I can be of utmost benefit for sentient beings. We call the mind of Bodhicitta. Bodhi means enlightenment, Citta is mind. Mind is found for enlightenment for the benefit of sentient beings. One who has that mind, but is not yet a Buddha, is a Bodhisattva. So, guide to Bodhisattvas in my life. Now, although they are Bodhisattva and they have that wish to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, however great that wish is, it's not enough. Because they have to undertake the trainings, the practices that will lead to the state of enlightenment. Right? And therefore, actually, they say Gaito Bodhisattva's way of life. The Tibetan, you know, Janju Senpe Chupa La Jupa, right? Better translation may be, maybe, engaging in the Bodhisattva's deeds. Janju Senpe Chupa, Chupa is like a conduct, right? And to Jupa means to engage in. So engaging in the Bodhisattva's deeds. So this text we're going through then shows all those trainings that the Bodhisattva undertakes. Remember, general Dharma is the techniques by which we train the mind, upgrade the mind. Now, the specific ones that Bodhisattvas do, those who want full alignment for the benefit of ascending beings, so those are explained in this text. Okay? We're out of time, but that was the general introduction about Dharma, and then the particular introduction to this text. Not just the trainings to upgrade the mind in some general way, but to upgrade the mind to become enlightened, fully enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings. So then, this text is then broken into 10 chapters, and in those 10 chapters it describes all the trainings that lead to the state of enlightenment. So, yeah, that's what we're doing here. I wanted to get a little bit more into it today, but you know, it's okay. You guys understand? Okay. I know you have to go. I have to go too. So let's leave it at that for now. So then at the end, let's just dedicate our merit. Okay, so tomorrow, we're again starting at 10. Even if more new people come, then what's your name? Ah.
Shagun.
Shagun.
S-H-A-G-U-N.
Shagun. So Shagun, if new people come tomorrow, what I've just said, you summarize for them. Okay? And then we're going to actually have to go through the text. Okay? Yes. Alright. So let's dedicate the merit. So think, please think. Due to the positive energy that we created in our time tonight, may all sentient beings, vast of space, instantly be freed from all their suffering and abide in the peerless state of complete enlightenment forever. Right this second. Then due to the merit, or the good karma, the positive energy that we created in our time together, may all the Holy Gurus teaching the Noble Path have long and healthy lives, particularly Dalai Lama, this one was Dalai Lama. And then, you know, until all beings are enlightened, you know, if that doesn't happen this second, then whatever sufferings are in the world, be it sickness, be it, you know, natural disasters, poverty, terrorist attacks, war, whatever undesirable things are in the world, may they instantly be pacified and never occur again in this world or in any world in the whole universe from now until all sentient beings are enlightened. And then, particularly, you know, there's some people whose names you've been given to pray for. Some people undertaking medical treatments, you know. May they be instantly freed from all their ailments. And all the beings who have recently passed away, may they instantly be born in the Pure Land, where they can meet the Buddha directly, receive teachings, and become enlightened in their very next lifetime. Okay, so let's leave it at that for now. We'll see you again tomorrow.